Okay, so I'm just gonna go over the map pool for the season. It's in the rule book over here. I'm gonna go over every single map and some things that I feel like could be abusable and or potentially dangerous. And yeah, hopefully that will be a little bit helpful in preparation. So the way it works is that maps will be decided. There'll be one map per week. It seems like. Yeah. So the starting maps will be preset. So basically you'll have a map that you have to play on. Otherwise, you basically can ban up to four, and the other player bans four as well. Um, and then player A has four bans, player B has four bans. Let's pick one map. How does that work? I'm not quite sure. Because one of them you start on, right? And then you ban four. You ban four. One, two, three, four. Okay, yeah. So there'll be three maps, I guess, left over, and then you'll choose one each. Okay, so let's go over them each one by one, and we'll see some things and some things to note, and hopefully that will be helpful for you all. I'm gonna let's full screen this so we can see this a little bit better. Acadia. So Acadia, created by Stevenator. I think it's a pretty standard map from what I know. Um, yeah, okay, so basically if you're playing Rax, you're probably gonna want to wall like like this. Basically, if you're playing Rax. Similarly, if you're playing maybe you want to wall this side over here. Maybe if you're playing like this would probably be your third building placement. If a house, if you're playing FE2 den, that's probably be where your dens would go. If you're playing, I guess mech, it would be a little bit harder. I think if you're playing mech, maybe it'd be something like this castle here, house here, like so. Maybe you could argue that maybe it'd be better if, against like raiders and stuff to have your castle here, so that your Gatling gun could go here, that sort of things. Um, but yeah, other than that, there's not really much to talk about, I feel like. It's a pretty standard map. One of the interesting things is that there some of the later parts of the game, they're pretty catadroppable. So like this sort of thing, you can probably catapult drop from this side and this side. So that would do a lot of damage here. You could also catadrop the third from the main, so like from here. And also, yeah, so I guess mech might be pretty good. Mech also, if you this high ground will be pretty important. Once people take a third base. So if they take this third base, you definitely want to be looking to get into this position over here as your staging ground to attack. So once you control this, you can rotate this way into the natural. You can also go into the third. If they take this base, however, the third over here, maybe this is also a wall where a 6x wall, so probably a 4 would be, that'd be a pretty big wall to attack. So dropship's probably the best thing against this if you go for third. But this is also pretty far from your natural. Um, I'd imagine some airplay would be pretty good here as well. Um, and then this is, I guess, something to note. These things over here. You can wall them off completely with a single 3x3 building. So if I put like a 3x3 building here, that is going to be a full wall. So you could, I guess, this one. Yeah, I think that, yeah, that's a full wall as well. So you could double wall this over here and force your opponent to only go this way. But I don't know if that's going to be actually that good because you still have a big wall over here. Maybe it's something useful. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Acadia. The next map. What was the next map? Let me see if I can find it. That's the wrong one. I have it here. It's going to be altitude. Okay, and he specified altitude LE. So this is also a pretty standard map, I think. Alright, so altitude, I think this is a pretty mech favored map in my opinion. I'm pretty sure I might be wrong, but I think you used on the previous version you used to be able to catapult and attack the the main from here. I think that might be patched now. Let me just double check. Player 2. Because in the previous version of altitude you used to be able to. Oh no, you can still do that. So this is going to be very abusive. I think some people would definitely do that. You might want to, I don't know, maybe even bring a worker, bring a tower here, and just fortify this position. Or maybe off of even one base, you might be able to do that. So like wall your natural, or even wall your, actually yeah, probably wall your natural, full wall your natural. Go for a cata drop and just target this down. That might be an option. But yeah, I think this is a very, very good mech map overall. Altitude. Just gonna wait for it to load. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff you can do. If you do go take your third, you have a really small choke at your third. Your natural is pretty easy to defend too, especially because it is a ramp up into your natural. Most maps in the lower game, your natural is on the neutral ground where there isn't really a ramp. So I'd say probably pretty easy to take a natural and a third. And then just playing mechs here seems pretty good, in my opinion. Yeah. All right. Next map, I guess. Let's check. Cursed Temple. Okay, let's look at Cursed Temple. It's getting laggy, so I'm gonna close some of the other ones. Tabs here. Cursed Temple. Cursed Temple is a pretty substandard map. It's not exactly very, very easy or very standard, I think, especially because of the short rest distance. This is extremely short. So something really cheesy like 2-den or something like that can happen a lot. In fact, I'd expect it to happen a lot on this map. So that's something you definitely need to be aware of. Other than that, if you do get a natural base, there are a lot of 2-base pushes that happen just because this is a very narrow, very quick rush distance. Stuff with mech probably is really good on this. I feel like I'm saying that a lot. Mech is really good. So let's say if they're pushing in over here, if you have like a catapult on the top over here, then anything that's pushing in is basically going to die or take a lot of damage. Otherwise, you have to go all the way around to attack into your natural, but that's also a pretty small ramp, so that's pretty easily defended if you know what's coming. Yeah, so this is, I'd say maybe you prepare a really good cheese on this map just because of the short rest distance. But at the same time, just because of the short rest distance, people like to worker scout on this map. If you're gonna wall, you're probably gonna wall just standardly like, and then castle here. Something like that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this map. Nothing else too spectacular. If it does go into like later stages of the game, you take this third or this third. I think this third is actually a lot better, but a lot of people disagree, and they take this third. But yeah, if you do take this third, you want to have vision of the high ground over here, like put a house here or something like that, just to make sure you don't get completely blindsided by that. What's the next map? We have Ice Cold. Ice Cold is another standard map, I think. Ice Cold. LE. Yeah, Ice Cold. This is patched. It used to be that you could do a cat drops from here and deal damage from here, but not really. Uh, yeah, it's a pretty standard map. I think you can play anything on it. Um, you'd probably want a wall either here or here with your, and then like maybe something like this. Probably. If you're going mech, you obviously want to wall it a little bit differently, but that's probably what you want to do. Um, yeah, this is just, I don't know, a really standard map. There's not much to say about it. Let's move on to the next one, actually. What do we have? Jade Wadi. Okay, Jade Wadi, there's a lot to talk about. Jade Wadi is a really large map, and this is just literally everyone's gonna Raider cheese on your map on this map, I think. Load Jade Wadi. Okay, so because your main is on the low ground, there's a lot of things that it's vulnerable to, but most particularly a Turax, Raiders. So what you can do is you can actually flash Raiders in from any of this high ground and just into your main. So what some people would do, generally, if I were to Turax, I'd put like a one of my racks here. The other one it'd be like somewhere like here or something. That's a little bit less likely to be scouted. But people already know of this, so they might scout you. Potentially, you might want to put your racks over here if you are going to do then. But this is definitely, or two racks, Raiders. But this is definitely something you want to be aware of. This placement over here for the barracks means that it has high ground vision over here when you're in the main base. So if you do have a Raider, you're able to like flash from here to the high ground, and vice versa. So this is just a great barracks placement, but people know it, I guess, so it might not be too good. When I say people know it, probably some of the older people know it for sure. Newer players probably not, because this is not in the ladder pool at the moment. But yeah, because of the flashable nature of the main base where you can just flash in, this is just a really, really good Raider map for just 2x Raider. If you're gonna cheat someone, this is probably the map to do it on. Other than that, it's a pretty big map. If you do survive and you don't go for that, then you can probably just play Beast on this map. It's pretty big. There's a lot of pathways. You get a lot of time to realize what's going on and react accordingly. That sort of thing. Yeah, that's it for this map. What's the next map? We've got Ravage is the most standard map. I'm not even going to go over it, honestly, because everyone knows about it. Let's go into Silent Fjord. Silent Fjord. Yeah, so Silent Fjord is also, there's also some abusable, whoops. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to the editor. Alright, so Silent Fjord is also very similar to when I say it's probably good for mech, just because this natural base can be absolutely cata-dropped from the low ground. So same thing with one of the maps I told you. You can just put a tower here, get some catapults here, and that will destroy the mineral line. Probably definitely want to do this on like a 2 base though, maybe not a 1 base here because it's very telegraphed. But yeah, if you do want a wall, generally you're gonna wall like this. So this would be your first building, second building, castle, and then your additional buildings like this probably. I guess you could do it slightly differently, where you have first building here, and then you put your castle here like this. So it's a little bit more diagonal. I think that's actually pretty good too. And then your third building like here, that sort of thing. Yeah, that's this map. I guess there's not much to say about this. Yeah. Next. Stream Junction. Stream Junction is an Stream Junction is a pretty standard, not standard, good for Beast. This is something that everyone plays Beast on pretty much. It's the largest map in the map pool, I believe. So most people just go for a castle first opening into 2-den, FE 2-den. So you can do something like this. House, and then your additional would be here, and wherever else you want to put it. Just huge map. Everyone's gonna play Beast, so I guess that could be something that you could take into account and be like, hey, I'm gonna hard counter your castle first. That happens 90%, maybe not 90, 80% of the time. Yeah, just because the rush distance is so huge, people tend to do that. So maybe be aware of certain cheeses on it if you are gonna be expected to play Beast on it. So yeah, generally take this third, not this third, and then with this third you can wall it off with a single house on like this side, castle here, this sort of thing. And that's pretty safe. Like this sort of thing. Yeah, expect to see a lot of Beast on this map. I'm going over these really quickly, so let me know if you have specific map questions, or I feel like there's a lot of stuff that you could do to have, like, if you want to do stuff like tower rushes, just to, like, then you would really analyze the maps. Maybe that'd be something really cool that if you guys want to do. Stronghold Fabius. I have no idea what this map is. Actually, I looked at it just before making this. Fabius 2, that's the wrong one. I'll have to look at the other one. This looks like a horrible map, though. Fabius. Is it Stronghold Fabius 2? It says 2 here. But I'm guessing we're going to go with this rather than the 2 here. If I had to guess. This is something that I'll probably ask. Because obviously they're going to go with the LE versions for Altitude and Ice Cold. So I'd imagine that'd be the same for this. I would just veto this map, honestly. This feels like old Arena or something. Mech is going to be insane broken on this map. The default attack path would be this way, but then that's too narrow for like catapults on the top, so you're not going to escape. So you have, if you're going to play Beast over Axe, you're going to have to go all the way around. Generally, yeah, I think if this map you ever play it, you're probably just going to do one base cata drops. Use this and just bam bam, or vice versa. You just go for the counter to one base cata drops, just to go for Ballista first. Yeah, I don't think this will be picked ever. Honestly, just ban this map, I think. Unless you want to just cata drop versus cata drop sort of thing. What's the next map? Sylvan Charm. There's actually quite a few things we can talk about on Sylvan Charm. Sylvan Charm, 4-player map, which means it's actually pretty big. It's like, I would say this is probably the freest natural in the game that you can take. It's a pocket natural, so if you want to do that, you can take it. But generally, people actually tend to take it later, so they take this space first. Yeah, so like so, or something like that. And then once they have this, they take this as a free third. One thing to note about this map is raiders can. Come on. Okay. So there are 2 raider spots that you can flash on across. So they can flash from like here to here, here to here, and also anywhere here to anywhere here. So raiders can be really annoying if you don't know about this spot and know to expect it. And yeah, also later on, generally people will try to drop into your pocket natural I think if it were me, I would maybe formulate a strategy where I just take this base, and the other person expects you to take the third, but you just go for a two base push or something like that. Maybe. I don't know. It'll depend on all of your playstyles and all that. But then also, for some reason it's really easy to take one of the side bases as like a hidden base really easily, because some people, they just don't scout that way, because you're gonna be playing here versus the guy in the bottom right, and then these top bases and these bottom left bases will be not really scouted as well. So maybe if you want to play beast, that's also an option where you have the freedom of, once you control the center, you're kind of golden, and you're free to take all the corner bases and play that style. I guess also one thing to note is these destructible buildings where you can destroy them to create new attack paths. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this map. I believe the last map was Thieves' Isle, unless there's more. Thieves' Isle and then Xenos. Okay. Oops. Thieves' Isle and then Xenos. Thieves' Isle is another one of those wonky maps. Did I spell that right? I did not. So Thieves' Isle is another wonky map. Two bases are pretty easy to capture, and then after that it's pretty weird. This back natural route is also a thing where you can just break down and go into your main or your natural. Generally, I think you wall like something like this. I think that's the best wall that you can do. Yeah. So this is actually a fairly big map. Well, not big, but like long rush distance deceptively. You could also proxy buildings in this location too if you want to be really cheeky, and like if they don't scout it, that's also something that you can do. And then yeah, so three bases are pretty easy to take. This fourth base is really hard because of the high ground. This fourth base is also probably more preferred. You just break down these and yourself, and then you just take this high ground and take this fourth. There are these corner expansions on the top left and top right, but you know, you could like airship drop into them and sort of thing. But I think anything flying is pretty good on this map as well. So you can do stuff like, if he takes his third, you can like drop into here. You can drop into the main as well. Yeah, it's an interesting map. I would expect to see a lot of things regarding that the breakable path next to the natural. So that's something you might want to be wary of. And then Xenos. So Xenos is a interesting map. I think a lot of the things that happen is two bases are okay to get. There's this side where you can block with a 4x4. Generally, you're gonna wall like this, like so. And then one thing is, if you take this as your third, that's gonna be cata-droppable. So catapults on the high ground here can reach your mineral line. If you take this third, catapults on the high ground can reach your mineral line from here as well if you drop them in. So definitely something to be aware of. And then you have these things where you can break down. Oh, one thing is that if you put units, go on, like here and here, like that, you can see the units going across the middle of the map. So that's a pretty nice place to put your units, especially if you're beast. But like putting a wolf on each side is pretty good, just for the vision. Yeah, that's Xenos, and those are all the maps. And then if you want, like, I don't know, we could look at some maps if you want to learn something like tower placements, if you want to do just tower rushes and stuff. Otherwise, And also, I guess we can look at them more. I didn't go into a lot of the mech building placements because you want a wall differently as mech, as you want to have the Gatling gun as part of your wall so you can repair it. Yeah, so if you want more specifics, please let me know. And I think that'll be it. Cool.